Hey everyone, just at the Serendipity Arts Festival in Panjim today with MSD, of course, and all my little cousins. And I thought, I'd talk a little sports. Woke up this morning, watched the Raptors game. Of course, love the result of the last two games. Looks like they've gotten things turned around, even still with the injuries to RJ and Jakob, and he's fighting through his regular injuries, it seems like. Not too surprised, as I said previously, that they'd probably regress a little with some losses. That's to be expected. They're still getting better, still learning how to close out some games, but I like the spot that they're in, third in the East still, and a lot of talk about trades. I think they'll do something soon, but my preference is actually to stay away from the big superstar, big names like even Giannis or AD. All those teams are looking to restock, and I'm sure what they'd love to do is get a lot of depth out of the Raptors, which would totally actually ruin their team. I think they're better off with maybe, if they're going for a trade, looking at someone like Daniel Gafford. Of course, Domantas Sabonis would be another one. But this also where, they handed out some big contracts. They wouldn't have to give up a lot for someone like that. But if you're going after an AD or Giannis, chances are you're probably gonna have to give up a lot to get them, and I don't think that's worth it. They still have a really young team, and again, the big talk is really about RJ, but RJ fits beautifully into this squad. His slashing ability is really something I think they've missed, but B has really stepped up his 3-point game this year. Really, after the first couple of weeks, he's gotten a lot better. So things are on the up and up for the Raptors as the season progresses here, and things are looking good. So 17-11, I believe they are now, and like their chances after 29 games to continue this run, to continue their spot in the East. I don't think they're going to drop too much further than that. I think they really have a shot as they go through the year, get more experience, play in some bigger games, to really keep a top 4 seed. At least for me, that seems like a logical place for them, a place where no one really thinks that they would have reached this year. Everyone, of course, had them out of the playoffs. And before I really sign off, I really want to talk about this whole thing that's resurfaced and continues to be talked about around the league. Fred VanVleet running his mouth, since his last 2 years as a Raptor, and when he got traded, it was really obvious he was salty about Scotty, about some of the other players they're bringing in. And I'm kind of glad that he's not on the team, but to really bring up this issue about Kawhi and talking about how he never intended to stay, well, I think we kind of all knew that, but to bring it back up and for U.S. outlets to deflect about the real situation, about what Kawhi has done to the Clippers organization, it really talks a lot about how they love to deflect when the situation doesn't favor them. And for Canadian outlets, podcasters, whoever you are talking about it, I think it's really sad to show that inferiority complex just to get a laugh, just to get clicks, just to get views about the whole Kawhi situation and what he said about Toronto. It says a lot about you. It says a lot about your ability to report on other stuff. Like, why are you still talking about it? Kawhi literally destroyed the Clippers franchise for 10 to 15 years while basically giving OKC free reign to run the league for the next 10 to 15 years. And I should also add, it's allowed a Canadian, SGA, big up SGA, to flourish, become an NBA All-Star, superstar, MVP, and obviously winning their first championship next year. And now the Clippers suck and don't own any of their picks. So that's what really people should be talking about. They shouldn't be talking about how Kawhi never wanted to stay, because we all knew that. And I think it's lazy reporting. I think it's hilarious that outlets like NBA on ESPN, like big ones, actually will talk about that about the Raptors, but won't consistently talk about them being a top 3 seed and surprising the league this year. So I think that's what should be reported as we go forward during the season. You know, if you're a Canadian outlet, talk more about that and less about the Kawhi situation, just to get clicks and laughs. And Fred VanVleet, how about you focus on rehabbing your knee and getting back to play, because we all know what happens when you get hurt. So good luck next year. At least you're NBA PA president. You have something to do. And yeah, Raptors, keep up the amazing work, the progression. Like I said, love the top 3 seed, and we'll get back to you guys soon from Goa. Have a good day, y'all.